There we go. Hello, everybody. The view looks a bit wider tonight because I'm using the laptop to film. So I need a little more space than I have because I need the phone to do the listings on. So I also need to get a few things out of my way because I have a few things to pack up tonight, or at least wrap, that I need to get off my desk. So, I have StreamYard on, but I won't be able to see the chat too well. Let's turn that down a little bit so the brightness isn't too bad. And turn the sound down so that I can go into my channel. Hopefully you guys won't be getting an echo. Let me know if you do. Hello, Val. Oh, you're welcome, Val. And I think I need to turn this down even further. There we go. Because I do prefer to use the YouTube for the chat because then I can see where the lag is. It also then I can see things in live chat, whereas StreamYard, I swear, uses Top Chat. So it's gonna be a bit different tonight. Work with me, and I have to get stuff into my Etsy store. I'm also trying to pack up a big stack of cards that are going to someone. And I don't have any more freezer size bags to put them in. So I need to cooperate here. Paper is not cooperating. However, maybe it'll work if I do that. I think it'll work. We'll find out if it works. So, Val, have you thought of a name for your eBay store yet? I made mine simple because I had I didn't have a YouTube channel at that point, but I wanted a name that I could use if I ever did. And so I wanted both the eBay and the Etsy to have the same name. That way, it would be easy if somebody just did a Google search. Because I found that seems to be the easiest way to find sellers on eBay. It used to be a lot easier to find a seller if you knew the seller's name. But now the store name, it's just not that easy to search. Like I always have trouble finding Rebecca's Retro because according to eBay, that's not the username. So it shows the username and not the store name. Drives me crazy. So for like Rebecca's Retro, I just look that up. I do a Google search, Rebecca's Retro eBay seller, and boom, pops right up as a Google search. Val, I did the same thing with you to find your eBay listings. I put in those initials and the numbers, and boom, there you are. So I was so glad I could help you out. That little cup, it's not a cup, that little pitcher and bowl thing, when I first glanced at it, I really thought it was Lefton, because Lefton did make one, but they're all subtly different, and it's all in the artwork on the actual it's all on the artwork of the fruits and the berries that are on it. Because they all had gilding of some sort. They all had like gold gilding on the handle. So you can't go by that. And I've found ones with that same L dash so-and-so listed as Norcrest, but also listed as Inesco. So it took a little more digging. to find out which one you had. I don't know that they would have used the same code number, but they do seem slightly different. There's like more brown on the one you have. So you're down to one of two names, huh, for your eBay store. Well, bear in mind if you're going to do a store, because this year I lost money on my store. Because I have to pay $25 a month, and I had a setback through part of the year, and I haven't been getting a lot listed in the store. So you need to make sure that you're at least making back double the amount of what your store is costing you. And of course, that's above and beyond, of course, all the fees for anything. And that's something that this year I have to make sure that I consistently get stuff onto the right platform. I hope the noise of the paper is not driving you guys too crazy, but now all that can go right into and now that and now that box is packed. Been having problems with my spine, causing spasms. Not been fun. Not fun at all. So Val, do you want to tell us? Yeah, do a starter store. I jumped right into the next level up, and I was doing great when I first started it. But then getting hurt, I honestly don't know what I did the year previously, and then the year I got hurt, I'm sure I was doing so well, and then it tanked because I think I put my store on vacation mode for 6 months just because it seemed like the best thing to do. Um, that was in 2021 when I first got hurt. But yeah, to start off, just start off at 4.95. Do the real basic one. Um, I I jumped right into the next one up, and last year just didn't. I missed making a profit literally by $7. I missed making a profit. I mean, and that's factoring like, all the fees and then the store cost itself. So I was so close. But yeah, I have to really take a good look at it and see if I'm going to drop back down to a basic store. It was I forget why I went with the bigger one. Probably because I had bigger plans than what my life actually decided to let me do. Probably. That was probably it. So I have been still trying to plug away. Boy, I made some stupid mistakes today trying to do shipping. So yesterday and the day before, I sent a couple of invoices out, sent a couple of more emails out, and someone's box finally was full, and I sent him the invoice. I'm an idiot. I didn't pay attention. The pirate ship defaults to the cheapest shipping, but it's in a priority mailbox. And I gave him the shipping price for package rate, not primary priority mail rate. It's $10 difference. So I'm going to eat $10 because I don't have a box that size to repack it in. And I printed out. This is one fun thing for those of you who've never worked with pirate ship before. If for any reason you have to, ouch, cancel a label, it can take 20 to 30 days to get that amount for that label refunded. So, yeah. And I believe you have to print out the postage with the date that it's going to the post office. So I have one thing here when I finally made more than one mistake. I have one thing here with tomorrow's date on it that'll be going out. And now Mike just told me that I don't have to arrange pickup because he actually has off tomorrow. Dang it. I just nicked myself somehow. Um oh, you know what? That's probably why I went with it because I was stocking up on shipping supplies. You can mail. Oh, okay, Gabby. Well, the problem for me, Gabby, is not having a car. That's been a problem. Like I have my brother's rent check that I've had for a week. He got his money early. So I've had it since Sunday and or Monday and haven't been to the bank because there's no way to get there. I have to get a bus pass and then see if a bus gets me to Aston. I might have to take two different ones. I know from where I live in this edge of Chester, there's no easy way to get there. I have to find out. Like there used to be a UPS shipping place right next to the drugstore. Well, close to the drugstore. And they moved out of there. So now I don't know where. Oh, Jeanette, no, no, it's a little savings and loan, and nope, I can't take if they are not that with it. I cannot take a pick of the check and just Michael razzes on me all the time, but then I see him complaining about different fees and stuff, and I don't have any of those special fees. Yeah, there's a fee if you have under $100 in your account. Now that's for savings or for a checking account. You have under $100 because I'm grandfathered in on my personal checking account. I've had that account for so many decades that I'm grandfathered into that, if it's under $100 averaged, by the end of the month. And even then it's only a $10 fee. So, yeah, I don't know. There used to be a credit union, Franklin Mint Credit Union around here, but I think that's out. I think there's one out where the Granite Run Mall used to be, maybe. So, we used to have a couple of the newer banks, like TD Bank was in Brookhaven, they're gone. Um, Wells Fargo's still out there, but I had some issues out there with people when we were trying to settle my mother's estate, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't really wanna go to that," and they're my nearest options. They're it. So I had the choice of those 2, and now the one is gone. So I'm still with the little tiny savings and loan. Well, it's not so tiny. Now it's got 3 branches, but still it's not a huge bank. It's one of those things too where you go in, the tellers know my name. They watched Michael grow up. But some things I have perks on simply because they did that when they've instituted new things. They left some things grandfathered in. Um, so because most things now, if you open up an account or even a savings account or a checking account, you have to have at least 1,000 in there. I don't have that. I don't have that. Thank goodness. Um, so, but yeah, it's so Mike has off. I can get that done, and I still I have no more SNAP benefits, which was helping to feed me. Um, because half the time Mike doesn't eat what's here, and if he's gonna cook, he buys everything for whatever he's gonna cook, and he does cook for all of us. Gary is on his own separate diet. Um, so I don't have a Chase Bank in Brookhaven. Don't have one near me. There's gotta be one around. Um, But they ended my SNAP benefits and I didn't know it. And because the email for it, they don't send any paper mail anymore. And the email went to my spam folder, so I didn't see it. And this month there was no money on the card, and I don't understand why I'm not getting it. And since I had lost my wallet, I couldn't remember when I should have gotten the money. And it turns out that I was denied because I didn't submit all the paperwork. They didn't tell me what I missed. I kept asking, "Don't I need a note from my doctor about being, disabled?" Because I got turned down. Don't really want to go on federal disability because I'll run out of money by the time I'm 70 if I do at this young age. So what do I need? And she said, "Oh no, I don't need any of that." And I dropped it off the day that it was due. And so it said they didn't get all the paperwork needed. Now, I did it online 2 days ago, got the same thing. I didn't submit all the paperwork needed. Your household income is less than your cash on hand. My cash on hand in everything right now is less than $100. What the hell do you need? I don't have a mortgage, I don't have rent, and that always seems to screw their brains up. And the computer system, the way they have it here in PA, it doesn't ask the online form doesn't ask for any utilities. It doesn't ask anything that you pay for your house other than mortgage or rent. That's all it asks. And then it didn't ask me for any medical paperwork to verify that I can't work a regular job, nothing. And then it said that I didn't supply medical verification. You didn't ask me for any. You gave no indication what the form was. I was very frustrated with it. I know that some states supposedly make it harder, and Pennsylvania is one of them. They want you to do it all online, but the online is actually crap. Um, and you only have 48 hours to appeal it. But I can't get anybody to tell me if you appeal it, you have to go in with all the paperwork you need to a supervisor. But I can't get anybody to tell me what paperwork do you want. And without that, I can't do a blasted thing. So I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep calling them until they put me on the phone with a supervisor who can tell me what the hell you want. So I'm done venting. Thank you. Thank you for being my sounding board because I'm just frustrated with it. I spent 3 hours going through every link on that form to try to find where surely there's other forms I would need a doctor to get to sign off on. Surely I would need utility bills. Nothing. There's no links off of that site. Nothing. It was very, very frustrating. And I spent 2 solid hours just focused that one thing. Let's get this knocked out. And yeah. Because that's all I mean, I get my health insurance through them, and that's fine. That's all set. Um, but yeah, the I don't get cash. I never got cash assistance, even when Michael was little. I never got cash assistance, and I all I cared about was cover him for insurance when he was little, because where I worked didn't cover any dependents. I worked for a nonprofit, so that's I want to go to their office with all the paperwork, but I can't find anything that tells me what paperwork they need. Now I'm sure. See, I've done it before and I've had to go down there when Mike was little and you take all your utility bills, your heat, your electric, your water, your sewer, you take all of that. So that's expected. You take pay stubs, you take your latest IRS paperwork, your tax return, all that, fine, I'm good with. What do they need from my doctor? Because it says in the thing where you can't just say you have these symptoms, but then it doesn't say what you do need. It's like, and that was on the refusal notice. It's like, For medical reasons, you can't just say you have symptoms. You need to have verification. Great. What will you take as verification? And there's nothing. Couldn't find a blasted thing. Now it did have a link, and I followed their link. It says refused concurrent under PA law, so and so, da, 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 and page section, whatever. And I clicked that link. You know what that link took me to? Mothers with disabilities and minor children. I don't have a minor child. That whole section that it took me to, that link took me to a section that didn't do me any good. And you could only scroll up a few inches and below it a few inches. It literally gave you a snapshot of a page with that section highlighted. But that section was not the section I needed. So, yeah, there's gonna be a day as Mike gets his schedule sorted out where I can, first I'm gonna call and try to get a real person to say, tell me where to find a form. Surely there's a form you need from my doctor. And if I can't get it over the phone, I'll find a way to get down there and sit in their office all day. So I'm gonna be stubborn because right now I need that. Definitely need that. Because I've already seen my weight start to tick up this month from not having it because I'm no longer having a salad for one of my meals every day. And my weight was doing good. And then now this month, I've already put on 10 pounds just from the beginning of the month. It's because so much of the food I'm eating is canned food, it's processed food. Don't I? Ugh, I need to get my garden going, no matter how much it makes my back hurt. Because I just don't like all this processed crap. There's too much added to it. But well, a food bank, we do know a couple of food banks, but don't have a way to get to them, and they don't deliver, and I can understand why. Um, so well, Social Security office is where we did the numbers when I looked into going on Social Security disability, and what happens is that comes out partly out of your total Social Security that you get. So, yeah, it's some of it is your money, and because I've only ever worked retail all my life, because I didn't finish getting my degree, um, I raised Michael instead. Uh, I would run out of money. We ran the numbers, and if I went on Social Security disability now at 57, I'd be out of money by the time I was 68, 70 years old. And then what? Then what do you do? So I'm trying to delay that. So, but challenge, and we all have different challenges. Oh, I wonder. I hadn't thought about that, Gabby. I'd forgotten all about Meals on Wheels. Huh. I'll have to look into that. I had forgotten about them. And Gary, our all our food stuff is separate because he has Crohn's disease. Now because he is a senior, because he's 8 years older than I am, Phil Abundance once a month drops off a box to the front porch of food stuff. And it's always a bag of rice. We eat a lot of rice. Pasta, not always pasta sauce, cans of diced tomatoes, but not always pasta sauce. Usually has a box of some kind of cheap cereal like not frosted flakes, but like corn flakes or knockoff Cheerios. Um, what else does he usually have in it? Well, that's it. Everything else is in cans usually. There may or may not be cans of tuna. Um, and the rest is usually vegetables. Once in a while, there'll be peanut butter. Rarely any jelly, but there'll be peanut butter. Um, so that's at least helpful. And if there's anything in there that um we don't eat, because none of us like lima beans, we'll pass that on to Gary's church has a food bank, and we will pass that on rather than have it sit and go to waste in our fridge. Gary had a green bean, not a green bean, a lima bean stuck in his throat, and it put him in the hospital. He won't touch them ever again, and neither Mike or I like to eat them. But all those canned ones, all that canned food, a lot of it has salt like crazy. Yeah, now see, I'm only 57. I got a ways to go before I hit 66. And they told me that, you don't get, and see, Gary's the same way. He's been on Social Security disability for quite a few years, since before mom died. She's been gone 16 years now. Oh, soon to be 17. Yeah, first May 3rd, soon to be 17 years. So, yeah, so I'll get it figured out. Um, I thank you guys for letting me vent, because sometimes that's all a person needs is venting. What do you want? And we have a critter. Come here. You gonna come say hello to everybody. Come on. You can leave that. Oh, you can leave that. I think your big brother that and trying to pull weeds. No, come say hello. Say hi, Elrond. Look, can you see? Can you see? Oh, I know how you can see. Wait a minute. Look, look. Let me make the screen big. Look, look, look up. Look, Elrond, Elrond, Elrond. Duh, doofenshmirtz. Oh, I see. There's another one underneath me. Look. No, don't touch the. What did you touch? What did you touch? You silly boy. You closed my YouTube. Hey, look. You see? Look. You're too busy looking to see where your sibling is, aren't you? All right, down you go then. Go get him. Go get him. You two gonna go play? I've already heard you race something down the steps. I was trying to get him to look. I was trying to get him to look at the camera screen, at the playback on the TV. The TV. Ah, I'm back on muscle relaxers, and they make me stupid. I really don't like them. My blood pressure got really, really high, and I have blood pressure medication, and it might be that I've been on the naproxen too long. So we're trying to take a couple days break of that, but my back's not cooperating. Jen, hi Jen, how are you? Jen's been on a journey. How you liking having that barn? I can't wait to see what spring come. What when spring comes to where you're at now, and we actually start seeing what's going to happen around that wonderful yard. It has been forever, because when you're usually on, I'm not where I can see you. Oh, I do watch your replays though. I try to. I haven't seen this past weekend though, because this is April, and April is like crazy for Boy Scout month. Smart move, Gabby. That's another reason I don't show up at sales too much, because I get too tempted. I'll be watching, and there'll be plenty of stuff go by, and I'm fine, and then there'll be that one thing that I go, "Ah." I mean, I just got two shirts in the mail from Lisa over at Flippin' Crazy, because she does do a plus size clothing sale, and I'd been looking all over for shirts that had the um like a turtleneck collar, but that weren't sweaters, that these were actual like shirts, almost like t-shirts. And she had one. I'm like, I need that. I need that. 'Cause a lot of mine I hate clothes shopping, so a lot of my clothes are all about the same age, so they all start self-destructing at the same time. Oh, yeah, taxes. Yeah. We did ours. So I'm fine for the feds. I owe the state money, I think. Mike told me, and I owe Chester a tiny bit because apparently I overpaid Chester last year somehow. But they swear I did, so I'll take it. Mm. What do I still have? I have that to do. I have this. I need to sort out this little thing. Oh yeah, not your dad's CPA. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I'm fine with legalese on some stuff, but when it gets to the taxes, I get confused on some of it. I was so thankful. Thank you. Those are mine. Wondered where those went. I am so thankful that they put on pause that $600 limit because that is ridiculously low. Huh. I wonder where the bag is. This should be with the bag of them. I have a bunch of enamel pins. So the bottom two are the California state flag, 13-cent stamp. The little flag one is Nova Scotia, that's Canada. And then the other one is Western Carolina University Centennial from 1989. I guess that is a, oh shoot. I almost said crinoline tower, but that's not the right word. It's a bell tower. Oh, you had to do 21 and 22? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is a lot. That is a lot. Because you do have a lot to figure out. Oh, does it fit? Yeah, we originally thought we'd have to put an extension because we were having trouble finding out in the January of this past year in 2022. I didn't have roll it into anything, but I liquidated the stuff from Wawa, and that was 7 grand, but that got some of the back taxes paid and a car repair at the time and a couple of credit cards just cleared off. So I got some old debt gone, which was good. Um, but they were supposed to take taxes out of it and then they didn't. And then we had to find out because if you're a certain age and that happens, apparently if it's a year over 59, then they don't take taxes, but I'm only 57, so they do take taxes and the pile is a little lower. Um, the Christmas stuff's still up. I have to found my glue gun because kittens pop pop this part off. Now I need to get the Christmas stuff away. But behind me is all new stuff that's become the catch-all because this is packing supplies. This is stuff to list. This is stuff to list. But so the pile, the real pile is here. So we're lower. We're definitely lower. For a long while, I was in the dining room because we moved all those boxes back from Philly Flipper. Gee, this fits. I just found a wristwatch. I know my lights are probably whiting me out a little bit. Can't do much about the one up there. I don't think that's facing me the right way. Think this was one of my grandmother's. Doesn't have any glass over the face though. I like this one. Oh, it says it's Timex. Hmm. The fancy one. I should use this as the well, that's one of the things I'm working on tonight is I have I took the photos of a bunch of cross stitch kits that I had been I had run them through a live sale and sold a few that way, and then took the photos. I can't get it off now. Took the photos, so tonight I'm gonna be listing them and get them into my Etsy store because I did my homework this afternoon and found out that I could do better if I put them in the Etsy store, um, at $20 and do it as a free shipping and just do that. Oh, a rubber-faced monkey. Was it a doll? Like a stuffed toy doll? And were the hands vinyl, hands and feet vinyl too? Because I grew up with my grandparents having one like that, and it was one from the 50s, and it turns out it was my Uncle Bert's as a kid. It's in it might still be in Texas now. Mugs, yup, Mugsy. I couldn't remember the name. Yup, I know exactly the one. I do. I grew up playing with Mugsy. He used to sit on the love seat in the parlor. Yeah, my grandparents were old school. So their house, there was a living room, there was a porch. You came in onto the enclosed porch, and then the living room was right there. And then there was a little tiny sitting room. She always called it the sitting room. And then there was, and that had a little love seat and a couple other little bits of furniture. And he was always sitting on that love seat to play with. And then there was the dining room, and then this little tiny kitchen. So for a small half of a twin, man, that actually went back pretty far. What is this? I think this is silver. 925. Yep, it is silver. It's a teeny little tie tack. Look at how short that is. I mean, what is that? An inch and a quarter long? Teeny little thing. Oh, more Cub Scout stuff. This is Den Mother pin. These are teeny tinies. I had to see. There's a Boy Scout, Cub Scout tie tack. That'll go too. And a sterling silver ribbon pin with a pink stone. I think I had that listed once upon a time and it didn't do anything. All right, so that's itty bitties that I will have to get listed. Maybe not tonight because I don't have photos of those. So, yeah, I flipped with Patrick while he went and did a show. So for 3 months, I was earlier in the evening and he had my spot, and it didn't do well for either one of us either. Yeah, that really shot us in the foot for lives there. It didn't do as well for either one of us. I also, as more people have gotten back to work, because I noticed once everything was open, about 5 months after everything opened up, everybody was starting to see a downturn. Ugh, this is what I'm working on tonight. I got all these cross stitch kits, and this one was in the live sale. all the kitties. And I we could it didn't look like the instructions were with it, but they were. This one had been opened and then stapled shut, and here the instructions were in between the cardboard. So somebody thought they were going to start this. They started putting some of the colors on the cards, but they didn't. Um, I don't think this one I'll have to do separate because I don't think there's a needle in here. I also don't know how to do this one because it's on 28 count cotton even weave fabric. Well, I'm not that good at cross stitch that I can cross over when it's that tiny. That's a problem. That's a definite problem. Well, I know that's a problem with me. I don't always get the notice out. Yeah, eBay's kind of a jerk in a lot of ways. They do tend to hide your listings unless you list every day, and I can't always do that. This is advancement month. I've got a lot of young kids. We also should be having senior patrol leader elections because the incoming senior patrol is supposed to run the planning meeting for the following year, and things have been too chaotic at scouts, and so now that's getting bumped to next month. Well, by the time you get through the court of honor at the beginning of the month, and then the next is the patrol leader conference, that leaves us only 3 meetings left to the end of the scout year. That means one of them has to be elections. The next one has to be the planning meeting for what trips we're going to do the following year. And then what? And we still haven't done merit badge choices for summer camp. So, yeah, eBay is hiding an awful lot of listings, which is stupid because it's not in their best interest to hide. That's shooting themselves in the foot. It's definitely shooting themselves in the foot to hide listings. But I looked, and for these cross stitch kits, there's a lot of dimensions ones, and the prices are all over on eBay. And I looked at that and I went, I could do better putting them in the Etsy store. So, Timmy, hello, darling. How are you feeling? We missed you. I hope you're feeling good. So, I do hope you're feeling good. So, we got a lot here. We've Jen and Jeanette's here, and I know Val was here in the beginning. Sherry popped in. Just realized that I hadn't actually seen who was acknowledged who was in the comments section. And then Marcy's here. Marcy, it's your box that I started packing. After this is over, I'll get it weighed. Well, I have to finish packing stuff in there. Uh, Kathy, Becky's Vintage is here. I think I caught up. But thumbs up. Yes, by all means. Like, share. My anniversary is May. Oh, I have to go look it up now. It's in May, and I want to have a night owl party. And but I also was hoping that we could get me to 1,300 subscribers by then. And nope. We briefly hit 1,180, and then it fell back, and now it's down today. It's back down to 1,172. Oh, oh yeah. Yeah. I know the feeling, Simmy. Um, Marcy, yes, that's actually what I wrapped up the beginning of this. I was wrapping something in paper to fit down in a box, and that's what I was wrapping up. I had a lot of pain at physical therapy. The pain pills didn't do a damn bit of good. They gave me OxyContin, and it didn't do anything for the pain, and I finally asked what was actually causing the pain, and they told me, "Oh, all the swelling." And that's when they put me on naproxen. Well, within half a day of being on naproxen, I could there wasn't as much pain. After 2 days of naproxen, there was a lot less pain because all the inflammation had gone down. So things weren't nerves that were damaged weren't swollen up as much. So, that's what worked for me because the pain meds just I couldn't have gotten through physical therapy if I hadn't figured out what was it that actually is triggering all the pain and have a doctor that actually was listening to me. Oh, oh man. My evaluation for physical therapy, they take you off into a little side room where I had it done and they do an evaluation. Just getting me to lay on the table to do the evaluation, I screamed. And then they tried to move my hip and I screamed. And you could have heard a pin drop through that entire building after every time I screamed. Because I think I scared the hell out of the old folks that were because when I started, I was the youngest one there by a long shot. Oh, oh, man, and oxygen and Flexeril? Yeah. Well, we're all thinking of you. I let everybody know that you had been injured, but, so we all have been thinking good thoughts and heading them your way. So, 'cause, you know 'cause you're in one of our night owls. We gotta stick together. Who else is up at this hour you know, to stick with hey, hello. Hi. Did I just put my foot down on your head? No, 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 nope, 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 nope. Eating of phone cords, absolutely not allowed. No, I didn't realize the kitten had come in and was under my feet. So Aragorn, it's always Aragorn, is down there, and I just stuck my foot on top of his head. Hi. No, you can't climb into Marcy's box. You have to stay out of Marcy's box. There's no room in that box. Okay, so you're gonna lay down on my foot now. Okay. I don't know which thing, and it's probably both, set my back off today. So I had to start taking muscle relaxers again. Um, because I did weed a little bit of the iris bed out in the yard, but I've done that before and it hasn't bothered me. But I ended up picking up Gimli from the floor. He's a big boy. He is now absolutely the weight of the dog, except he's all muscle. He's so good night, Gabby. Simi, I do my physical therapy stretches every morning. It takes me an hour to get out of bed every morning. Not because I'm waking up like I used to where I couldn't move without stretching, but it just helps keep me have less pain and less problems during the day. So I still do all the leg and hip stretches. Oh, that's good that you're walking a little. That's great. Yeah, I can't sit and then bend over to ground level, Kathy, because there's hernia here and a hernia over here from the traction therapy. So if I squish that much, try to sit and then bend to ground level to pull the weeds out, I actually will force this hernia out through the hole again. I don't want to do that. We don't want to risk anything strangulating. So so I end up just bending over straight over. But I did it today because the dirt is perfect. It's that super, like, just slightly damp, but powdery. So, the stuff's coming right out. So it's great. 'Cause my iris have not been tended to in a long time, and I think I have, um, iris borers in one of the beds because all of the big corms are hollow and there's only little bitty corms left. So I think I need to go out there with my knife while the plants are only this tall and, go out there and take a look and cut off anything that's bad or dig out any iris borers that are in there. Don't need those little buggers eating my irises. I've already lost quite a few of the good colors because 'cause they're where one tree has grown big enough it shades them too much. So, who also has selling on eBay or Etsy? Put your name in now into the chat of what your eBay or Etsy store name is. Advertise yourselves, darlings. Go ahead. You can. I don't mind. Etsy seller. Let's start getting some of these up. This was the only one that I was not sure about whether I have German bearded iris. I have a few Japanese iris, but I mostly have German bearded iris. Um, I love them, and my mom and every year we would get one or two different varieties. The only one I know I still have a lot of is the old school 1950s ones that's all lavender, with the yellow throat. So that I have plenty of because nothing seems to kill those suckers. But a lot of my other ones just, because I hadn't been out there to weed it or take care of it and mulch it in the last few years, they've gotten smaller, so I would love to have some iris corms, some new colors to add, so and Simi, I sent you an email, about that mushroom book, and, let's see, Becky's Vintage and More. Oh, you have a whatnot store, okay. Bonnie's Creative Gift Ideas is here. Yeah, now all my stuff is this overstuffed house, and when I was in the towards the beginning of this, I was saying is that it's sometimes a lot easier to find somebody's eBay as a seller if you Google them, their eBay name and eBay seller. And then it pops right up because that was how I found Val M. That's how I found her store and helped her ID one piece. And then there's Rebecca's Retro Closet. It's another one. When I saved it as a seller, I could never find it because her store name is Rebecca's Retro. But her username is what came up on what I saved, and so it doesn't show up on my list of sellers as Rebecca's Retro, so it doesn't show up as the store name. Misty's does the same thing from Thrifter Junk or Vintage Hunter. Hers is Wildflower something on my seller list. I haven't actually looked at her stuff in a long time. I looked at her and Jeffrey. Oh, the floor is not lava. I know, I'm sorry. I had to move, and that meant you got kicked in the head. I'm sorry, Aragorn. He's just your brother. Um, but I would look at their stores to see what were sold comps. Also to see because she has so much knowledge and so does George the Antique Nomad that sometimes it's easier to look at what their sold things were so that you can learn what they were and what identifying marks they had so that she knew what it was. And that's actually helped me learn a lot about glass. I do the same thing with the old curiosity shop with Scott because he specializes in 1920s, 1930s glass, and that's been a big help for me to learn because I love the whole Edwardian period style of glassware. So it's helpful sometimes to have favorite sellers that you can look in their shop and see what they've got. Okay, how do I do this from here? I don't wanna do feedback. I wanna add a listing. 1, 2 Yeah, because right now there's only 6 things left in my Etsy store. Think Val left us, so I'm gonna plug it in. Okay, here it is. I don't have the link, but this is there's the name for finding Val M for her eBay listings. Not the link, that's the name. So if you search for that, you can find it. Are you guys all bored now that the Zoomies are over? Why can't you go sleep with Mike? He's got a nice big queen size bed, all the room you could want on one side of it. They gotta be where mom is. Always have to be where mom is. They are a trip, absolute trip. Claudia K, vintage glass with class, Black Dog. I haven't seen Black Dog vintage in a while. Oh, that's all right, Val. Val, I put your eBay name in so that people could check out your listings if they wanted to. Um, no, I don't wanna add a video. You can add a video now to Etsy? That's new. Add a photo. We wanna add no, not the photo of Michael. I'm not selling Michael. We wanna add this photo. Oh, I can't edit the photo? Hmm, okay, well, we're at it. Did I do it right? I've never done Etsy through the phone. Yeah, a lot of people I think that's another reason that the sellers who are left on YouTube, we may not be seeing as many people as we used to because I think a lot of them migrated with some of the bigger channels over to Whatnot, so they're not coming back to YouTube at all. Um, I can't handle adding another platform. I just can't. That would be just too much for me to have to add another selling platform because 'cause I'm barely keeping up with let's face it, I'm not keeping up with what I've got now. So, you're supposed to add that photo. Why are you not adding it? I don't understand what am I doing wrong? Okay. Ah, nope. It still didn't add the photo. Why won't it? I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, and, oh, so what's her name? And I can see her face. But yeah, there's a couple of them that have gone just completely over to Whatnot. They're not even they're doing maybe, like, shop with me videos on YouTube, but no selling. So I think quite a few just people went over there and then didn't come back to here, not just the sellers, but the people who follow them. 'Cause at first I thought, "Well, that'll leave more people for us that are here on YouTube," but then I think there was a mass exodus of YouTube. I don't need to adjust that. I want to add another picture, and I don't understand why you're not letting me put a second picture in. I am confused. I am very confused. Oh, now it's doing something. Yay! I have another picture in. Good. I've never ever done this through the phone for Etsy. Oh, yeah. I found the lipstick and I thought, "Well, now that I found it, I'm gonna wear it." I've also looked good because I had an hour and a half nap because that's what happens when I take a muscle relaxer. I don't have a choice. And it's not even super strong. Yeah, I haven't been in her eBay store in a bit, but I know Misty was using her eBay and Etsy to, like, clear out a lot of stuff that didn't suit. Like, boy, when she had those Christmas ornaments, she had a huge mass of Hallmark Christmas ornaments. She had a ton of them in her eBay store. So, but yeah, this lipstick kind of suits because I'm so pale. I always think like the red lipsticks though might be too much because I'm so fair skinned, I'm so pale that I always think that it might be too much. Oh, Simmy, charge your battery. But I'm glad you got to stop in, Simmy, because we've all been thinking about you. Yeah, I need to get better at doing previews because for a while there I was doing previews like 2, 3 days ahead of time, and then I haven't been. And it's a little bit chaotic for April anyway because of everything with Boy Scouts. What was that? What was that? Was that you? You're not that heavy. What did you find? Oh, I know what you might have found. All of a sudden I heard what sounded like metal, and I realized that Elron might have tried to get into. There's a galvanized watering can, a vintage one back in there, and the doctor used to sleep in it. And then she got too big to get through the hole in the top. And so I think he's been sleeping in it. I think he just came out of it. Hi, Retro Ruby. I'll be here for a little bit. I want to get all this listing done. So we work and list. We're working on White Tiger right now. This is the only one I was considering putting on eBay first as an auction. But I thought, no, I'm not gonna jump. I don't cross post either, just because I'm not that organized. I should have known if I was hearing something that wasn't Elrond. Which fat boy is back there? Yeah. Should have known. There's one. Are you both back there? Yes, you are. That's a lot of combined weight. Hi, Gimli. Frodo just went that way. Gimli's over there. It's a no count cross stitch. I don't understand that, but okay. I used to take photos with a digital camera and then have to download the photos to the laptop, and then I could tweak and edit the photos and crop them usually. Um, now it's all through the phone, but I find you still end up going back in, especially with eBay. You still end up going back in to add some of those item details. So this is from no, we don't want to. I could put the year on the inside. Dimensions. I forgot the word kit. That would be helpful. 3976. What is it? It's a supply or tool to make things. When was it made? 1990s. Category. Like I said, this I'm in a learning experience. Um, oh, it means the thread color is stamped on the cloth. Kind of, because what they did is like all the outlines are there. And I guess on the chart, I guess would tell you which color fills in which outline. Category. Cross stitch in. No, it's not a tutorial. Hmm. So your options, what would you guys do? So the options for a category is art and collectibles, fiber arts, cross stitch. But I would think that would be more for a finished item. Cross stitch in kits, cross stitch in embroidery is still under arts and collectibles. Cross stitch in kits is under craft supplies and tools. So, since it's a non-finished thing, wouldn't it be better craft supplies? I think that'd be better to go into supplies because it's not finished. Because it has a special thing for kits. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, and you can do cross stitch as your type. Cool. Primary color, black, really. Secondary color. Well, that's where that's going to get me into trouble. Well, we'll say white. I'm not doing occasion. I'm not doing holiday. It's not a digital thing. It's a physical thing. All that's done. Oh, well, section, craft supplies. There we go. I'm learning this. Like I said, I've never done this on the phone before, do an Etsy listing. Yeah, craft supplies. Yeah, that's definitely what we're going for here. Um, basically, new old stock. Can I spell dimensions right? Thank you. No can. This is where I get into trouble because my fingers are too big. Let's see. It's number 3976. Unopened kit from 1992. Copyright. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible because there's a lot of these to get done. I think this is the only one too that's on a black background. And it's definitely the only one that's that no stitch design. So what else would I need to put? So if you guys were looking at this, because I've never sold these before, what information would you want in the description? I mean, it has a designer name on here, so I should put it that it's designed by Barry Fogelman. Um, would knowing what the count of the Aida cloth, would that matter to someone for a kit? I know it would to me because I don't know how to do like that one that I do really like that was already open. That's got such a tiny, that's a 28 count. I don't know how you cross that many to make a decent sized X. Like I can never get them even. I can only do stuff where I can just do the little holes, So 14 counts perfect for me. 28 count, which is that other one, I know. I did one once and I didn't know, and it was a 32 count, and I couldn't understand why like my stitches were microscopic because I didn't know that you're supposed to somehow cross over so many little sections of the weave. And I knew nothing about that. So what should have been about this big ended up being about this big. Yeah, I was not good at that. Absolutely not good at that. But and my great aunt Harriet only had a chance to teach me the basics of, a cross stitch. I still have the sampler that she gave me to do. That's framed and was upstairs in the black hole challenge room. Designed by Barry Fogelman, and it is uh 14 count. Not Asia. There we go. And what else did I think? Oh, finished size. So why did they say frame size without a mat? Wouldn't that be finished size? Okay. price. What's today? Today is 04/21. Hmm. No, that's not what I want. There was what I want. Oh, what did you do? Don't clear stuff on me. All right, publish. No. What is not right? Why do I What are you doing to me? First off, why are you asking for international shipping when there won't be one? It still wants me to put the item weight, item size, and all that crap when I'm offering free shipping. Why? If it's free shipping, why do I need to do that? Okay, so there's that. Select shipping service, but it's free. No, no, no. There should be no everywhere else. Get that off of there. Create profile. I think I have it all now. Maybe. And it took off international shipping. Publish. Yeah, I know there's 20 cents. Go. Active. Yay! We've got the first one done, and y'all laughed at my incompetence. I told you guys I was computer challenged. I am technology challenged. And y'all didn't believe me. Now you saw why. Yeah, I talk to myself a lot when I'm fussing with technology. Oh my goodness. So, yep, it is active. Yay. Why does this one have an arrow on it? Nothing wrong with this one, is it? I don't see anything. All right, now, is there an extra fee for that? We're gonna showcase that listing just cause. We're gonna showcase that listing just because. Now, let's go to Etsy and see what it looks like actually in the shop. Yay! Okay, let's take that one off and that one off. Yeah, there's a little glare. How's that picture looking? Yeah, it's not the best lighting in the world. I had to do it on Mike's bed. The flash made the bottom part look real bright, but not the top. So it is what it is, and I'm gonna run with it anyway. And we're gonna get these up there because I had been trying to sell them for $10 a piece because that I knew that was gonna be lower than what I wanted to sell them for on Etsy. What? You can edit price, quantity, and SKUs, but can't add new variation types or edit variation names in the app yet. Can I what? As long as I can change the pictures, a lot of the others will stay the same. Long as I can change picture, title, delete that picture, delete that picture. There we go. See, figuring it out. And then this will hopefully be more stuff out of the house because that's the game plan, right? That's the game plan we're all doing. We're all trying to get stuff out of our houses. Ugh, dang it. What did see? Here we go again. I don't know what I did the last time to get it to actually upload. What are you doing? This is so much easier if I could have done this on the laptop. There, finally. See, I've tapped it 3 or 4 times and it doesn't wanna add, and I don't understand why. I don't know what I'm doing wrong because it should be just tap, and then it takes me to the actual picture, and then I go back, but it's not nope, nope, it didn't add it. So add, now it's adding it the second time I hit it. There we go. See, I don't understand that. Why do I have to go in and out twice? That's weird. That's very, very, very weird. Now this one is a Busilla kit. This one's an angel. 8. This is this one. You see the angel? Yeah. It's kind of a cool looking angel. Um, but alas, no one wanted her. She is Celestial Angel. I really thought I hit the jackpot too that day because I was looking for stuff for the sale, and I wanted all this craft stuff and opened up one box. I'm like, oh, more fabric. When I moved the fabric aside to see what was in the bottom, it was all cross stitch kits. So who's working on what project? We know my project is the whole house. But right now, my other project is advancement for scouts because all that has to be done by next week. And we've got one eagle in the process. So we're making sure he's got all his stuff. That's a lot of paperwork. Um, we're also trying to get everything sorted out for what merit badges they're getting in summer camp. That all that has to come through me. So on that front, April and October are always really busy for me for advancement, but April even more so because we need to have the merit badges picked for summer camp because we have to let the camp know very soon what the kids are taking. So, so yeah, there's that. And then of course spring is here finally without a lot of rain. So we've been trying to work out in the yard. So that's the other project. I try to spend I didn't get I think I got about half an hour out there today. Um we've been trying, even Mike has been trying to get more time out in the yard where he can get some of the ivy ripped out because I can't touch the stuff. It gives me a rash. And this isn't poison ivy, this is regular ivy. So he's been working on that and some overgrown weeds. And then I've been working more on the fine tuning parts of weeds as I can. He hollers at me all the time, don't do too much. He wasn't home today, and I was waiting for the mailman to get a package out. Since I had screwed up and printed it for today's date instead of tomorrow's date. Well, it is now tomorrow, it's now Friday. That was the other screw up. I didn't change the date on a second package, and it would have had to go out today. So the mailman kindly took it, and I had to do something to putz around outside waiting for him to come. So, oh yeah, Kathy, I know that feeling. I have lots of stuff to finish too, which is why I went, I don't know why I have so many of these. And I know there were one or two that I picked out. There was one with a needlepoint one with swans on it. I know I picked that one out and I absolutely loved it. And it's rare that I ever have any regrets, but I kind of regretted selling them. But um, but all these cross stitch ones, I mean, they're all from when Frank's closed. So I don't that was so long ago. Surely I was with mom. Maybe I wasn't. I don't know. A lot of these are not ones I would have picked out for myself. Certainly not the angel one. So I don't know if she thought maybe because eBay didn't exist at the time that Frank's closed. So I don't know if she thought maybe I'd do them later. I don't know. I don't know. Hello, Maria. Hi, Susan. Yeah, it's amazing what a little lipstick can do. Who is this lipstick? I also don't even know where I put it. Oh, there it is, over here. So it's one of the few times I went and paid for good, um, expensive makeup. Oh wow, the words are all worn off. OT the MVP? What? Um, shoot. I can't tell who it was. All I know is I bought it actually at a department store at the makeup kiosk, and I think at Macy's. And this is what it is. And it's meant to go inside a holder, a tube. But the tubes are always so big and bulky that I said, when I saw it like this, I said, no, thank you. So I literally just bought a piece, but I love it because it fits in my pocket better because I don't carry a purse. So being short like this, it just fits so much better in my pocket, but all the wording is wearing off the plastic. And it won't wear it. It really stays on for a while, so that's awesome. Usually lipstick just fades away on me. Um, that's what I forgot to put on I should have put NOS in the title for the yeah, I don't know the name of the color because all the words were off. Well, it says '01 the MVP from whatever company that was. So it's not, it's funny. It's like I grew up never really wearing any dark colors. Never wore any dark lipsticks, except even on stage, they were more of a rose or a pink, because my skin's so pale. So this one was a little different. Let's see. So this one is Bucilla number. Yeah, I know there are probably unfinished projects in this house from me, but I don't know where they are at this point. So my unfinished projects are trying to get more books out. I make a point of reading a little bit instead of looking at the phone before I go to bed. I now put the phone across the room because all too often I was finding that I was turning it off, turning the alarm off, and falling back to sleep, and that's not working. That's just not working. So so now I put the phone on the other side of the room, and I'll read a little bit, usually only 4 or 5 pages of the current book, but it's helped get rid of books. I just finished one that I had gotten as a giveaway from Goodreads, called Spine Poems, and it was just printed last year, and it was okay. Wasn't great, but it was okay. Basically, it's a photographs of poems. Most of them are like haiku kind of things, where it's only a couple of lines. But um they did it with the titles. They stacked a pile of books to make the poem out of just a couple of titles. And most of them basically are only they're really kind of not what I would think of as poems. Simply because some of them are literally just three titles, but it's the fact of how they are together. Um I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it would be things like, um, it'd be things like having one that says divorce, another book says, um, what was it? One's how to face death, and then the bottom one would say something like, um, "Is life getting you down?" They were weird. I mean, that's very dark humor, those choices, but it was have that, but then the opposite page, they had to fill it in with something. So there would be all these little quotes and snippets of information and history and facts, but they didn't always match what was in the poem. And some there was like no connection I could see at all to some of them, other than just being there for filler. That was kinda strange. It was fun to look at. It was a fast read because most of what you're reading, I mean, isn't the image. It's you look at the image, you see those titles, that's quick and easy, and then reading the little I do wish they had put it in a little bit bigger print because what they did for that little stuff on the side on the other page is they put it in that smaller print that they would normally put footnotes. Remember when footnotes used to be at the bottom of the page and they were always a little bit smaller font than the information on than the rest of the page? And that's what it looks like they did. Like all that little stuff on the side, the print is kind of small. So that's smaller than it normally would if it were just regular text. That was the only thing I found to be a little annoying with it was trying to read that. Um, so, but I finished that one, and I'm still working on a book on early Christianity and a geology book, which I haven't actually touched in a while. And and I sat it down, and the house ate it. It's Jules Verne book called Master of the World, and I've read it before, and I really like it. And it's not out here. I sat it down somewhere down here on the first floor, and I don't know where. And I sat it down yesterday morning, and I still haven't found it. Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning was when I I sat it down. How do I put it? I read the book before a long time ago, and this one I'm reading. And then when I'm done with it, one of my scouts is going to do the reading merit badge, and you have to read different genres. So technically, this particular one falls underneath science fiction, but I think he likes engineering kind of things, and so I think he'll really like this one because that is part of the plot. The fact that this guy's a brilliant engineer, and he also likes history from like the early 1900s. Well, that's exactly the period that this book's talking supposed to be placed in and talking about. So there is a little steampunk kind of stuff going on in it. So I think he'll really enjoy it. But it also give him a genre that of book that he's never read before. So I think he'll like this one. But I wanted to finish it first because the book, it's an old paperback, so it's kind of fragile, and I don't expect it to survive him reading it, but I want to let him know that's okay because it wasn't made as a quality paperback. It's one of these Signet classics which were mass produced, super cheap, and the glue in the spine is beginning to crack. So if it falls apart when he's reading it, I don't mind. It's okay. It's not like it's a good copy. It's a cheap copy. So I I really wanna get that done. Gotta find it and finish it because I love Jules Verne, I love H.G. Wells. Um, I like Neville Shute. I have yet to find all of his books. I don't have all of his books. His books are so cool, and most people only know On the Beach because that becomes required reading half the time in schools. This one's 1995. But he also did A Town Like Alice, which was made into a movie. Uh, What else has he done? I'm trying to think what else he's done. I think those are the two he's most known for. But his style is really, really nice. Okay, so what do we got for this one? We have a 28 count. 28 count even weave cloth. No, spell it with a V, not a C. Frame size without mat is 11 by 14. There we go. Save that description. What else? Anything else? Nope, that's the same, that's the same, that's the same. I really like this copy another listing kind of thing. Next, publish. Yay! Number 2 down. Ha ha ha. I do put a lot of the craft items onto Etsy, because I've found it seems like Etsy, it's easier for people to find craft supplies than it is on eBay. So I've done better putting that kind of stuff and handmade stuff up on Etsy than I ever did on eBay. So I do keep them kind of separate. Now, all the vintage stuff that's not sewing related usually ends up on eBay. Um, Simply because that does better there, especially, like, when I get to and I have to get to them, vintage toys, they do so much better on eBay than they do on Etsy. It's not really the place for it. Etsy was primarily started to be a place to sell your crafting stuff, and it's kind of evolved to be so much more than that. Go, next one. Copy. Um, um, I think now it's easier than eBay because eBay has added a ridiculous amount of item specifics that you need, which just most of my listings all keep saying you're missing item specifics. There's nothing left to put in, but it still thinks it should have more item specifics. And so I've gotten to the point I just ignore that notice. Etsy, it's much easier in that they're not so finicky about the item specifics. They're not they don't suggest, they suggest a few like categories they might suggest. And that's helpful. But yeah, it's, I find it a lot less fuss to list stuff on Etsy. But it's also though know your market. Etsy was primarily just craft stuff you created or supplies for crafting. Now they have somewhat of a vintage market, but for the most part, I think it's still a lot of crafted items. And I've sold most of the crafted items. I did finally find some more, and I have a whole bin of a whole bag of stuff that I took photos of that it's upstairs in Mike's room that I need to um get listed. There is a step by step. Now I'm doing it on my phone. And this is the first time I've ever done it on my phone. And to list on Etsy, they to do a listing, it asks you for a title, for a photos, and you can add a couple of photos. I'm adding 2. I'm just doing front and back of these kits. And then you have the description that it asks if this is an item that can be personalized, which I'm ignoring that one because I don't. It, then it has price and inventory, your quantity. Now it has a thing for SKU. The SKU is for the seller. It's that's the number you give it for whatever is in your inventory. For me, I put the date in that I listed it. So it helps me, and I do that on eBay as well. It helps me um, keep track of how long something's been listed. If I know when was the first time I listed it. So I use that SKU, and you can do a personalized SKU on eBay as well. But that's what I use. Is I use the date. Um, Variations, which I don't have any for that. Um, and then there's details, and they need to know if it's a physical item. They need to know who was it made by you, someone on your team, or by somebody else. Then they want a category of is it a supply, a tool to make things, is it a finished product, and then they'll want to know when it was made. Like, is this a modern thing? They want a decade pretty much of when was it made. And then, of course, your typical categories. Um, and then there's attributes. And the attributes for what I'm doing right now, there's a craft type, a primary type, and a second color, which I just realized to I need to clear that off. How do I get rid of that? Because not most of these will make the primary color is the background. Most of them, it's beige. Hmm. Since it's not letting me out. Beige and clear. There we go. Because it doesn't seem to be a way to take attributes and make them completely disappear. And then there's things like there's some things like it has on here. It has a thing for materials, has a thing for tags. I don't really understand what the tags are. And then there's shipping. You can set up shipping through them, just like on eBay. If you have the weight and what the weight would be in a package, you can let them do estimated shipping, or you can create your own shipping policy. I had to create my own because I'm listing these for $20 each, but they're $20 each because I'm offering free shipping. So that will cover the so basically after the fees, and the shipping, I'm gonna see somewhere between maybe 14 and $16 maybe, um, between from each kit, which is what I was hoping for in the first place. So and then you have to have a return policy, and they have a standard one, it's 30 days, so you can just hit theirs and let it do it. So, yeah, now I haven't done cross listing because of the fact that I can't keep up with what I got now. Partly because I just feel like there's too much on my plate as it is. So, oh, nope, 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 nope. Back up, back up, back up. There we go. This is the copy. I need to delete that and delete that photo. I'm answering your question, and I almost messed it up. Oh, wow. Oh, man, Marcy, that's awesome. I have, I think, 5 Neville Shute books that I've found, but he was prolific writer, but he wasn't an American writer, so I don't know that all of his stuff made it over here. A vintage Victorian fan. Oh, oh, that's cool, Marie. That's cool, Maria. A light blue box with a vintage Victorian fan. That's so cool. I like the one Neville Shute. There's one where he and is it I don't know if it's in a town like Alice, but there's one where so they have a huge um election coming up. And their political elections in the book are very different than anything anybody does anywhere else because you get more than one vote, which I found an interesting concept because in America, when we started, only landowners got the vote because they were educated and they didn't give anybody, not everybody got the vote when we started our country. And they basically, in his book, you get a vote, you automatically get one vote. But then if you get an education and finish college, you get a second vote. If you served in the military, you get a vote. Um, if you are certain professions, doctor, lawyer, whatever, teacher, you got another vote. If you did something, there was some other one where you could get a fifth vote. Members of the clergy, I think, also got a was in there somewhere. Um, but then there was one extra vote that you could only get if you did some kind of outstanding service to the crown. So at that point, he and the main character actually has that extra vote in the book. My favorite place to list used to be eBay. Used to be. They've gotten so complicated in the last 10 years that I sometimes find it frustrating. It was so much I think when the thing that got me with eBay the most is when they got rid of Turbo Lister. Because when they had Turbo Lister, I absolutely loved listing on eBay because you could list well, you could make your listings whenever you had time to make your listings and then upload them as one big batch. And that was fantastic. I would work all week. When Michael was little, I would come home from work and he would, I'd get home just in time for him to go to bed for school the next morning. So he would stay up until I get home at 9:30 at night because I didn't work that far away. I worked for Joanne Fabrics and I'd be in the door by 20 after 9. I could get something to eat. He'd sit there with me, I'd hear how his day went, and then he'd go off to bed. but then I'd sleep late in the morning while my mom got him sent to school because I would stay up and anything that needed doing, like if the dishes from dinner needed doing, I'd do them. I'd get the laundry going so that in the mornings, all the laundry would be done, and then I would stay up and list while the laundry was doing. So, I could set up all these listings in Turbo Lister, and then every Friday, I would when I got up, so around noon on Friday, I would upload everything to eBay. So everything that was an auction ended all at the same time, and it was so much easier then because everything ended at one time, and you could pack everything up, and usually I didn't work on Monday, so then I could get it packed for the weekend, go to the post office on Monday. And that all ended when they got rid of Turbo Lister. Now they have a program or said they were gonna roll out a program, but now they want you to pay for it to get this program so you can list like that. I don't wanna have to pay for it. They already take fees for shipping when I don't use their shipping service. I understand paying a tax on the shipping, I get that, but I think it's abysmal that I have to pay a fee on the shipping costs when they have absolutely 0 to do with my shipping. That annoys the crap out of me, so I won't give them any more money for that. So I that's when I really loved eBay to list with because it was so easy, and now I find that Etsy's a lot easier. Um, but I haven't had a lot of stuff to put on Etsy in a while. So that's what all this is for. So that's my answer. Etsy has become my favorite group, uh, just because they've kept it easy. Mike's new job. Well, he's been really, really busy. He well, he didn't get home until 9:30 tonight. He'd been out all day because he went to work. He has to be there at 9 in the morning. But some of the things with scouts that he has to do. No, back up. Some of the stuff he has to do, he, why are you not? Here we go again. Okay. I don't know what step I'm missing. So he's got a whole district that he's in charge of the fundraising and helping troops, plan out fundraising and let them know what the fundraising is for that's coming out of council. So, but he doesn't know that many people, so he's had to, "You friggin' thing, will you please work? What am I not getting here?" I don't know what I'm doing wrong. No, I don't want Google Lens. No, get that out of there. I cannot consistently get this thing to add to photos. It's getting on my nerves. Um, but he's had to cold call a lot of people, which has been a little challenging for him. Now it's just tried to add 3 photos that have nothing to do with. There we go. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. That's driving me nuts. Um, so but he has to go to all these different troops and cub packs. So since this has been the first week, it's been super busy. But he's also worked really hard so that he doesn't have to go in tomorrow, which is good because then I can get to the post office and I can get to the bank and deposit my brother's half rent and 'cause I need that. And So, hey, any $100 will do you, because that's what the check is for that I've got to deposit. But he likes it, but he's also been frustrated, and he kinda finally figured out what. Yes, but this is sold. This has to get packed up and shipped off. It is a double-decker tin. It's a cool looking tin though, isn't it? Um, but he realized tonight why he feels like he's been frustrated with this job because, yeah, it's the first week, and so you expect a learning curve and all that. But he's not used to having deadlines that are a month away, 2 months away, the end of the summer. That's foreign to him. He has worked at Wawa for 8 years, and everything there is always, "Gotta get it done now, gotta be done by the end of the week, gotta be done in 2 days." Everything is, "Gotta do it now, gotta do it now, it's due," "Your deadline's in a week, your deadline's in 3 days." Everything is like that working. He's so used to everything has to be instantly handled. He is not used to this thing where, "Well, we set up this and you go talk to them, and, popcorn sales will be coming up in a couple of months," and all this long range planning is all foreign to him, and he couldn't quite figure out, he says, "I just keep thinking I should be doing more," and then it hit him, that's why he feels like he should be doing more. So, he realized that today, he said, when he came home, and he said he realized that this afternoon because he had downtime between when he was done at the office and before he had to be at this dinner thing. So, he was just, chilling in the office for 2 hours, and so he had time to himself and time to think, and that's when he said he realized that that's the problem. It's that all this is about making connections and long range goals and mid range goals. And he spent 8 years on a thing where everything is always short term goals for that day, for that week, at most for that month. But usually everything is super short timeline, and everything has to be quick at a Wawa convenience store, and so he's just not used to that, and he said once he figured that out, that he felt a lot more relaxed about the job now, so I'm glad he finally figured that out because 'cause he's been wired. As the week went on, he said he only just started this week, but by the time we got to Wednesday, he was just keyed up like a drum head, so I'm glad he figured it out because he was soon gonna be driving me crazy. Victor. If I can learn how to spell Victoriana, uh, but he likes it. I mean, this is where his passion is scouting, and so, he likes it, and that's a good thing. Now, many of us have ever walked into a job that we really, really wanted, and they turned out to really like it. That doesn't often happen. So, what is this? Cross stitch kit dimensions. 3099. It's different if it's a stamped cross stitch. Gotta put that on there. Well, so yeah, it's a lot different for him. But he's getting the hang of it. The driving doesn't bother him. I mean, it's an hour each way to get to council office. Whoops, come on. This one's a stamped cross stitch. It was kind of funny because he said he noticed one thing today that a lot of people in that office are old. His car is good. Yeah, his car's all fixed. My car I don't have anymore. 'Cause- So my car was not. Good night, Marcy. Kathy, which changes? There have been a lot lately. In the last year, there have been a lot of changes. So which ones? About including girls? Well, you know what? All the rest of the world, and even in the very beginning, Boy Scouts did not exclude girls. And I myself was a Boy Scout because they've always, um, in my lifetime, had a co ed program called Explorer Scouts. And now there's Explorer Scouts and Venture Crews, and they're co ed, but they're for older. You can't join them until you're already 14. Whereas a troop, you join as a Boy Scout, you join at like 11. Um, so, uh, but the rest of the world's already opened that up to girls. We're just way behind the curve and way fussy about it. I think that's abysmal. Here's why. My council is where the Order of the Arrows started, and that is all the native elements that they're talking about. Talking about taking it out of the Order of the Arrow, which is the honor society within scouting. These are also the volunteers that do a lot of the repairs on all the scout camps. The Lene Lenape language is not spoken by the tribe, but it's spoken in the Order of the Arrow ceremonies. It's the only place the language still exists. And there are members of the tribe who have told our local representatives that they love the fact that we are still keeping their language alive. And some of their ceremonies are taken directly from that tribe. Now, if there are other tribes where it's some section, like there used to be a fire dance, but there's very, very few that know how to do that. And I don't know if that came from the tribe from our area. But if there's other tribes where there are things and they are not comfortable with it, well, then maybe we should think about not doing them. But for the where the majority of the native elements from the Order of the Arrow come from are from the tribe, from the area right here in the Delaware County area, in the Delaware Valley area, where their tribes were, and they actually like it that we are using it so that their language doesn't die. So I'm there's a difference between appreciation and appropriation. And you can appreciate the beauty of that language, but only when you hear it. And if the people, the native speakers of it tell you, if the tribe is telling you, yes, we want you to continue, then I don't think we should be yanking it. Now there are other elements because I believe the fire dance is from a Hopi tribe thing. So ceremony. So for that, I think that is a different tribe and they would need to request permission to use it, I think would be the correct way to go. Because Order of the Arrow, a lot of the books on it and a lot of the language in the ceremonies is about celebrating these traditions of and it constantly is putting out a narrative of the Native Americans and their ways and how they took care of the land and were stewards of the land. There's a lot of good stuff in that, but not all the Native Americans elements in it came just from the Lenni Lenape. So I do think you need to look at those elements and then go talk to the specific tribes. And if they say yes, we should be allowed to keep it. If they say no, well then we should let it go. But I know the language part of it that all the ceremonies are based in, they were given the green light. So one of the whole points of using it too is that it makes it so very special because you just know that you're hearing and seeing something that is very unique and different. And the fact that the Lenni Lenape tribe has gotten to be so few and had to leave their area is included in the books on the OA so that you know why they're not here, and you really do feel that they got a raw deal, but you have to understand that that raw deal was over 150 years ago, and it's not something that you can do much to help with now, except to honor their traditions. And that's in some of the OA books, at least the ones I've read. But it all talks about treating it with respect and honor. Now, if that's the way you're handling it, that is appreciating something. But that's not the same thing as just, hey, I'm just gonna, hey, I like that. I'm just gonna yank that idea and wear it as a Halloween costume. I don't know that that's appreciating something. It's not handled with the same amount of respect. And I think that's the difference between appropriation, to my way of thinking. I think that's the difference between appropriation and appreciation is the amount of respect that you give it for what it truly is. And I think that's the difference. And unfortunately, appropriation is a word thrown around a lot by people that aren't involved in the actual gray area that's being talked about. And that becomes an issue in itself because not everything is appropriation. Not everything is appreciation. And until you actually talk and listen to each other, each side of it, you don't know which one you're dealing with. So, and that could be true for just not just Boy Scouts, that could be true for all of it. I say that as a person who, I last name is Kraus, and every time we had to go learning about the Nazis, can I tell you how many times I got beaten up in school just for having a German last name? That if you change the S to a T, you get Kraus. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it is the getting grief for being something that you're not, just because you have some eph ephemeral connection to. With me, it was just a name, but with some things, it is you're taking bits of their culture and stuff, but that's my. Can you tell I've had this debate before? Because I had a full answer for you. But yeah, I mean, that's my bottom line for it, is it needs to be decided not by outsiders, but by the actual, um the actual people involved. And I know that we are okay for part of it, but there are other ceremonies that are rarely done, um, in our area. They may be done more in other areas, and I think the fire dance is like I said, I think that's Hopi Indians? Hopi. Don't know the correct way to pronounce that. Um, and then the further out west you get, that might be different. There might be ceremonies that were added in because it was different tribes in different areas. And so that would need to be addressed. But a lot of the tribes you can find at least something or someone that is a representative. There's a fellow who's a fantastic scout historian that Michael and I know, and he was at summer camp with us one year, and he was hand making on a loom a special beaded belt, a Native American Indian, a Native American belt out of all these beads, and most of them were authentic bone beads, and it was all in. They were doing a special canoe trip. The Lenni Lenape, Indians were the Native Americans. Sorry, I'm showing my age here. Anyway, there was a group of them that were taking the Delaware River from way up where it started and canoeing down to Treasure Island in the Delaware River just outside of Philadelphia, and it was a special ceremony between the tribe and the Order of the Arrow representatives, and it was for some anniversary of when they first gave permission to do, the Order of the Arrow. So it was for some anniversary. I think it was done in I think it was done in 2011, and so I'm trying to remember because we were at Barton. We were at Barton, and was Mike still a scout at that point, or was he a leader? I think it was the last time we were at Barton and he was a scout, so it would have been 2011 or 2015, because that's when we were at Lake Cayuga up in the Finger Lakes in New York. And but he was making this belt for this special event, and the belt was all these pictograms of them starting their canoe trip and coming down, and it had the symbol for the tribe, and it had the symbol for Order of the Arrow, and then it had, on the other side of it, it had this pictorial of Boy Scouts that were coming towards, so they would meet in the center for this powwow meeting, and they had a big ceremony. So it was amazing. I wish I could have been at the ceremony. I saw pictures from it, and it was pretty awesome, because they did most of the canoeing, and they had these big the front of the canoes, they had these big packages wrapped up in tarps. It was ceremonial clothing, including, some amazing, deerskin clothing that they didn't wanna get wet, so it was all carefully packed, so when they got to Treasure Island, they changed into their native dress for what the time period back then would have been, and the pictures were just awesome. So there's been a close connection in our area with Order of the Arrow and the tribe, over the years, but, yeah, in some areas, they get pretty stupid about it. They try to follow their traditions. Um, I'm not thrilled with what some states are trying to and some senators in Congress are trying to push through because they want to take away native sovereignty on tribal lands, which basically means they wouldn't no longer be allowed to rule themselves. We signed a treaty. We signed a lot of treaties with the Native Americans of all tribes, and as a country, we have failed most of those treaties. The last one that has stuck is that they're where they kind of all got funneled into in these reservations would at least be sovereign land, that it was up to them to handle what went on in their own territory. So they are, in a way, their own little kingdoms. At least that's the way the treaty is written. Now, the treaty, I think, is from 1840, but we've got senators that want to break that treaty. And basically, that basically the local government should be able to tell them what they can do, when they can do it, and no, we've broken enough treaties, can we please? We've ostracized them enough, get over it, people. Congress needs to get certain people in Congress need to get their head out of you know where. So, yeah. Um, just because someone's way of doing something is different, why do we always have to be fussy about it? If they're happy and they're not hurting anybody, what is the problem? Never understood that. So now that I've ranted on about OA and Boy Scouts, what time is it? Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Wow, 2 hours already. Didn't expect that. Didn't feel like it. Well, I should know though, because my throat's getting sore. Oh, no. And see, that's on the farmer. What a jerk. Selling her bad meat like that. That is not cool. You're not the same number, are you? No. I don't know where to get, I know upstate, you used to be able to upstate Pennsylvania, my aunt used to be able to buy, like, a whole side of beef, and I've not found anywhere around here that I could do that. And I could fill up the freezer, but that would take quite a chunk of money. So what is this? Um, do you not say what size? No, you don't. Okay, you don't tell me what kind of cloth is in there. I guess because it's stamped, and it's 8 by 20 by I know Paul used to do this all the time, Philly Flipper, where he would do, listings. I never understood how many people would come and just, watch him list stuff. It's like, "Really?" Yeah. Is there any way to get rid of this? No. Okay. There's no way to get rid of primary color. I guess I could if I start from scratch, but I'm trying not to do that. Okay, title, description, got the right pictures in. Everything else is already in there. So we can publish that one. Yay. It's at least three. Oh, wow. That's the one thing is like I'm in too urban an area. Way too urban an area. Why did you show up there, but you show up down there? Don't know. It's active. That's all I care about. And I have two of them. So yeah, I mean I probably like there's a farmer's market that gets some of the Amish and Mennonites in called Boost Corners. I might be able to get something out that way, but other than that, I don't we don't tend to have too many independent butchers anymore in this area. It's too urbanized. Mike would love to get me out of this area. Um, but we have Gary. So that's not happening. Hi. Hello, Miss Arwen. You're the only one I haven't seen all night. I know you won't let me pick you up. I'm gonna try anyway. Here. Hi. You gonna come say hello? No? I can't reach you over there without hurting my back. Yeah, your twin is asleep at my feet. Oh, now you have to smell what's in Marcy's box. Silly kitties. Silly, silly kitties. So let's see if Etsy sent me an email. Did you recently sign in? Yes, I did. Just through the phone, which I don't normally do. Listings. Let's highlight these three. And you can star them to highlight them. And so I want to highlight the three new things. There we go. 3 is better than 0. Definitely. Definitely. Because that store was pretty empty. How do I do this? Oh, I took myself out of the wrong screen here. Did you like the picture of the sleeping kitties that was the thumbnail? Because I needed to let the muscle relaxer work and take and lay flat, and I ended up having all the kitties. Except who was I missing? I had all the boys upstairs with me. What did I touch? I touched the wrong thing. Backspace. There you go. There's a link to my Etsy store. It should be in the description too, but I thought I'd just pop it in there and let you guys see how it is. I'm gonna go because my throat is starting to bother me, and I can't stay up too late tonight. I'm also gonna drink. Do I have to not in here? Okay. Um, I will probably I'll probably get myself some tea with some honey in it. Clear my sore throat out. All the trees are popping that pollen, so it's driving us all crazy. And and the allergies are just because a lot of the windows have been open. So I noticed that outside. It's like the sidewalk, the one sidewalk down the street from me, from the tree that's down there. You're starting to see like yellow all over the sidewalk, and that's only maybe 15 yards that way. It's real close. Those Norwegian maples are dropping pollen, and other trees are dropping pollen, and Mike and I both sound, oh, actually, even Gary, all sound cruddy because it's partly allergies. And I also don't want to get sick again. Gary's been coughing his head off, and he's doesn't cover his mouth. So, like an idiot, I keep hollering at him for that. Going, yo, dude, I don't want to be sick again. Passive aggressive twin art form. So, so anyway, that was my listings. Oh, she's playing. I hear her knocking around her favorite toy. Her favorite toy is a little ball like that, and it's all like just open pieces, little plastic thing, but it doesn't have a bell, and she absolutely loves it. Oh yeah, your son's car's been covered in it. Yeah, yeah. Mike's car hasn't been yet, but it has on the street side. You could see it. Because it's kinda sheltered by the Kwanzaa cherry tree, which is a flowering cherry that doesn't get any actual cherries. So it kinda almost looks like the cherry blossom blooms in Tokyo, but it's not actually one of the Japanese trees. But when that one lets go, he'll have petals stuck everywhere and yellow stuff. But as the leaves are coming out on that, it's kind of blocking his car a little bit, at least on the passenger side and halfway across. But all the stuff from the other end, oh yeah, that and bird poop. All the stuff on the street side, yeah, it's getting pollen from the trees across the street. So one side of his car has yellow dust on it, and the other side is not so much. But I'm gonna go because the throat is beginning to cut out, and it doesn't look like I have any cough drops here. I think I may have finished that bag. I know I have some left upstairs, and I might have some in the kitchen. If not, I'm gonna go get some green tea with honey in it. Get a few more of these done while I drink my tea, and then get to bed because I gotta mail out. Who am I mailing out? I'm mailing out to Julie, and I think that's the only one going out because I had to redo the postage for that one, and now that means I don't have enough postage for it. So, but, the game plan for me is to just keep plugging away at packing this week and get more out. Marcy, I know, left her package is what I was working on when we started, so I just have to add newspaper and write a note and put some goodies in there and just keep plugging away at it. So you guys have a good weekend. Um, there was a storm that may or may not come up and hit here on Saturday night. I'm hoping it doesn't because our kids are out on a biking trip this weekend for Boy Scouts. And there's no fun in riding a bike on trails in the rain. That's just mud and mess and disaster. So I'm hoping that no rain hits us, it either bypasses us or it goes and waits until like after 9 o'clock at night when they start heading into their tents to go to sleep for the night. Fingers crossed. Yeah, Kathy, are you in the middle of the country? Where are you at? If you lost that ball behind that picture again, oh no, wait, that's Aragorn. No, that's Arwen. Honestly, I can't tell them apart from the back. I know the rain. I saw Ryan Hall, um, Northern Ohio. Oh, it's up that far already. Ooh, Ryan Hall might have underestimated how fast this storm was moving. Because that means it's stretching. It's because it was supposed to go like in this little bit of a curve down into just down in the top part of the South, and then was supposed to move up and hit Ohio and then slowly make its way over to me. But if you're in northern Ohio and already getting that rain, then yeah, it's gonna hit here. God, it's up there already when it might hit here on Friday. Ooh. Well, Friday during the day, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not going biking. I know that. Mike had just bought me a bike too, so I've heard of Cedar Point. I haven't been there, but I've heard of it. I think we passed it when we did Ohio as a family trip, and we didn't get to stop. So nearest amusement park to me is probably well Dutch Wonderland, but that's for mostly for little kids. That's in Lancaster County. And then there's Hershey Park out in Hershey, PA. I think Dorney Park is still in existence. Or you go to there was a Six Flags somewhere in New Jersey. I haven't been to any of these in years. So, not in years. You guys have a safe and pleasant weekend. And this coming Thursday will be another live sale. I don't know of what. Um, Possibly more craft stuff. I don't know. I will make a point of trying to get a video out. I know I need to get I missed this week for I just didn't have time to film another one of the McCall's magazines. I just did not have time this week to get one filmed just because there was a discrepancy among a potential Eagle Scouts paperwork and we had to go through everybody was searching through old files because he was missing merit badges. They weren't in the computer system, and it was just days of me pulling out and finding old summer camp paperwork all the way back to when he was a young kid. And so, yeah, that was a mess. So that took priority. So I didn't get them filmed. So I got to do that uh, this weekend. Get one up and then get the others at least uploaded so that then I can time them to when they can come out on Wednesday and then get that sold off to the lady who would like to buy them all. Because that would be nice. Something else out of the house. That's always a good thing, right? Something else out of the house. That's the goal. Get it out of the house. So, all right. Have a good night. And I will see you all Thursday for a live sale. I don't know of what. I will make it a point of trying to have a preview video up by Friday morning. Friday morning. Duh. By Wednesday. Wednesday. We'll have a preview video up by Wednesday. What am I thinking Friday? My brain, I'm telling you, my brain on muscle relaxers is stupid. So, all right. See you guys Thursday. And I gotta find, there it is. There's StreamYard. I'm ready to turn off YouTube going, no, you idiot. You're still doing it through StreamYard. You didn't do it through YouTube. Oh, maybe I should just find a cough drop and go to bed because my brain's just not cooperating anymore. So see you guys for the night owl sale. And I hope you guys all have a good weekend. Bye.